Welcome back to the recap as we preview the NFL season, maybe even sprinkle in a little college. That's Ryan McGuffey. I'm David Kaplan. Our guy, the Fat Jack, FatJackSports.com. He is the best in the business. He joins us now. Fat Jack, good afternoon. We are 24 hours away from kicking off NFL 2025. How's your handicapping looking? Are you excited?
Yeah, we're finally here after a long summer. It's nice to finally be to the season, and so far so good. I mean, the NFL obviously undefeated, which is always nice, but college football it's been really nice. We actually were swept the board on Friday with 3 easy plays and one over the week, and the other sports have sprinkled in some other profits. So a really good start this early in the season. I always tell people, you want small winners, not big losers. So you don't bet with your heart, you don't bet with passion. You tiptoe, build momentum. It's like anything else. First down, you need 4 yards, right? You don't have to hit a home run every time. Let's move forward and move uphill so we get far away from even, which helps the bankroll long term. So all of that, we're off to a really good start.
How do you handicap as you look toward an NFL season? There were 14 teams in the playoffs last year. Not all 14 are going to get back, if history is an accurate barometer. How do you look at teams that go, I know that everyone thinks you're going to be good, I don't?
Yeah, so regression is a real thing. It's the system of the NFL, right? They want the top, they want to pull down for salary caps and trade, all the things they do. Besides the fact you have so many players, there's a lot of parity in the league. They don't want the same teams at the top every year, and they don't want bottom dwellers either. So regression's real, and it is a little bit about let's find the teams that we think will regress based on a number of things, either what they did or didn't do from last year to this year. Schedule is a lot of that. I mean, you get teams that last year won 13, 14, 15 games. Their schedule was easy. Detroit comes to mind. They had an easy schedule last year. They win 15 games. This year, they're going to have the top 3 toughest schedule, so I expect some regression there. And they didn't really do a lot in the offseason as well. They're kind of dancing with the one that brought them. So there's certain teams like that you try to identify as they were good or they were bad, and how are we going to get them back to the middle? And then long-term success, to me, it's a stair step. All right, you rarely go from the outhouse to the penthouse in 1 year in the NFL. It's a stair step. So you need teams, if you're looking for that team to kind of shock the world at the end of the season, they need to have been making some of those steps early. So teams like, and I have a few of those that I think will do some damage as we get toward the playoffs, at better than 20-1. And so you look for those as well. If I'm going to tie up my money over the course of the season, they had better be 20-1 or longer. I'm not playing Buffalo or Baltimore or Philly or any of those teams that are 5-1, and I'm going to give $100 to then not touch that all year long, because I should be able to do more. If I know what I'm doing in this, you want to be able to do more than 1x your money over 4 months.
So taking all of that into play about being out over your skis because of the excitement of week 1, so many people maybe go a little bit more than their bankroll should allow in week 1 just for the natural excitement. I get it. But not knowing exactly who these teams are yet, there's money to be made in week 1. How do you navigate the slalom down the hill of week 1? Because there's multiple games right now where I'm looking at, it's in the 8 plus 8.5 range. And I'm going, that looks juicy for week 1, but how do you navigate not doing too much too soon?
So if you're handicapping the same way a month from now that you are now, then you're going to lose money doing this. And I do think that early in the year, week 1, week 2, it's more valuable to look back at historical numbers than it will be a month from now. And so I start out with just simple principles like, if I'm betting to win the Super Bowl, no rookie quarterbacks, no rookie head coach have ever won the Super Bowl ever. So I immediately mark all those guys out. I don't think that I don't want to try. You go broke trying to bet trends to stop. So if they've never won the Super Bowl, we're not going to bet them. As far as week 1 goes, I'm looking for things like the parity in the league. Underdogs have performed very, very well. And to your point, you definitely you want that all those points become a good thing. But I will tell you, they get really valuable when you start looking over 6 or 7 points. So underdogs overall are really good in week 1. They're 49-27 against the spread when they're over 6-point underdogs. So if you get anything over 6 points, 49-27. This is since 2006.
That's
and they hit almost 60%, even just 1 to 6 point underdogs in the last 10 years. So the last 9 years since 2016, they're hitting 60%. So, and divisional dogs even better. So if you get in the division and you're getting points, 23-7 against the spread, divisional home dog. So if you get a home dog, i.e. Atlanta, and you're getting some of the general public jump on teams like this, but Atlanta and Cleveland are the two that are home dogs that are in their division this week. They historically, over the last decade or so, since 2010, 23-7 against the spread. Just in the last, since 18th, or 10-2 against the number. If you would just blind bet underdogs in week one, since 06, you would have had one losing year. They've won every year. That's 20 years of just blind betting underdogs in week one. So that's not something you can do a month from now. The lines adjust, people will recalibrate and everybody. But early on in the season, if you're thinking underdogs, if you're thinking betting in week one, look underdogs first, because I want that percentage to be in my picks. So even if you love a favorite, understand you're kind of swimming uphill, right? You're going uphill a little bit with trying to beat a trend that's hit 60% of the time over at least the last 10 years.
Okay, so you said since 2006, underdogs, I think you said, are 49-27, and 6 or more point underdogs. I think that's the 49-27, and divisional home dogs are 23-7.
That's the run since 2010, and 10-2 since 2018. So really, really strong numbers. It makes sense, right? These teams are familiar with each other. They know what they're looking at. They are at home. And so I'm not going to try to overthink it early, because the question was, how do we handle early season games? Are we looking at preseason, or are we just kind of speculating what they're going to be? I don't want to get caught up in the mud, right? I want to try to get some stats that I know generally are going to happen, and then drill down from there to find 4, 5, or 6 games that'll make me some money.
Okay, in terms of the Chicago Bears, they are getting 1.5 points right now today from the Minnesota Vikings at home. Obviously, we're in Chicago. Give us your thoughts on the Bears and that game.
So and listen, I say this no matter where I go on. I'm not going to pander to the local audience, good, bad, or indifferent.
Well, hang on. You already didn't do that. You already, right out of the gate, you said the Bears don't have a shot of winning the Super Bowl. They have a rookie head coach. So let's get that out there.
This is like foreplay, right? I mean, I'm about a date. We're going out. I'm going to get you a nice appetizer. I'm going to ask for more. Yeah, we're easing into it, right? But unfortunately, the details, I don't think they're going to have a bad year for sure. But if you look historically, I'm sure you guys have talked about this. This is a Bears team that has not had double-digit wins since 2013. They've gone under their win total every year since 2019. So historically, this is not a team overachieving in the market. I'm not a believe. Where is Caleb Williams in the league? I mean, that's kind of where I am, because I think they're going to go as far as he takes them. I love the coaching change. I like some of the additions they made on defense. Still a little bit of a wild card on that side of the ball on how good they've looked good in the preseason, but we can't put a ton in preseason. But Caleb Williams is my guy. Is he going to be the 24th ranked passer in the league? He had an 87.8 passing rating last year. Played okay. He doesn't play in the preseason. He was good in college, but we just don't know. Guys all the time transfer to the NFL, and they either become stars or they bust, and everywhere in between. So what are we going off of that we say this is the guy that's going to take us to the promised land? Good news for Bears fans. You don't need to go to the promised land this year. If I'm right, making the playoffs that should be the only goal. Get into the playoffs, especially in that division. Figure out a way in, and then next year we figure out how to get better from there. But I think they're going to be better. I think they have a chance of going over their win total this year, but I think it's right about, depending on how the defense plays, is how far their win totals are going to go. Because I expect Caleb Williams to be better, but he's not going to be Aaron Rodgers in his prime yet. I just don't see that. Maybe I'm wrong, but if he's a better quarterback but not great, I think they're right around their win total. Good defensive play puts them over that number.
The NFC North, clearly the best division in football a year ago. I think that probably is still the case now. Micah Parsons gets traded to the Packers a week ago, and there's people around here that are like, Packers Super Bowl or bust. Yes, it's Super Bowl or bust. That's what they signified by making that trade. I don't know how that trade makes them NFC contenders / Super Bowl contenders by that one move. I think they're a couple moves away. We talked about Caleb. Jordan Love has, at least his resume looks a little bit better right now.
Got to take a step.
He's still a big question mark right now. And there's a talent thing on both sides of the football outside of Micah Parsons. But what did that trade do for you looking at the Green Bay Packers?
Yeah, I still think it's an or bust. If it's Super Bowl or bust, I don't think we're there yet. I think that he helps for sure. They went from 22-1 to 16-1 based on that one trade to win it all. So I think it's improvement. He's a havoc wrecker. He's a generational guy. He does have some back issues. You know, he's getting shot up for game one, I guess, and that how his attrition that'll matter a lot. But I don't see them going all the way. The good news is that if you are in the NFC, I think you have a much better chance. Obviously, it's wide open, and my picks kind of reflect that. I mean, the AFC is tough sledding right now as we go into the season, but the NFC, it's more there for the taking. If you believe Philly backs up at all, then it becomes wide open after that, right? Like I said, I mentioned Detroit. I don't think they did a whole lot in the offseason. I don't trust their coach. I think that he goes for it when he shouldn't, and I'm a gambler. I mean, obviously want to go for it a lot, but I mean, he goes for it when he shouldn't. That cost them in the playoffs. It did last year, and I think it will going forward. So it becomes a wide open conference. I don't know that Green Bay's ready to step into that, but I do think there's a bunch of teams that are moving in the right direction. Green Bay certainly included in that.
In terms of this weekend, everyone's thinking, all right, I got to get my feet wet. I've been saving my powder. I'm ready to go. Is there a game or two that you really like here right in the first week or two?
So I hate to immediately go toward games that nobody's going to want to watch. because there are just a few. Listen, they throw it out there for us. The NFL hits you in the face with, this is how great of a league we are. Look at all these great matchups. But sometimes the money comes from other games besides that. So games like Jackson, listen, if you picked one game that stinks besides Cleveland, Cincinnati to have to watch, it's probably Jacksonville, Carolina. But we get the most consistency out of those two teams as far as what they do well and not well. Carolina went over the total 13 of 17 games last year. They led the entire league in over the total. Didn't play great defense. I expect better play out of their offense. They have a revamped offensive line, so they'll get a little more protection there. Jacksonville, kind of similar, right? They're not stopping a whole lot of teams, had a lot of problems on the offensive line. They replaced 3 guys on that side of the ball. If Trevor Lawrence gets time, I think he's able to score, and this becomes a little bit of a shootout. So over the total in that one. The other one, you have to look, if you want a favorite, it's teams like Philly. All right, Philly tonight, on Thursday. This is a Dallas team, besides the trade, and I hate playing with the public. That's the problem here, is that who walks up the window says, yeah, sign me up for Dallas. I mean, they look like a dumpster fire because they are. But you get Super Bowl champs that are winning and covering at a very, very high rate. Super Bowl champs 19-5 straight up against the number their next year since 01, 14-7-3 against the spread. But at home, they cover 70% of the time in the last 20 years in their first game after winning the championship. So you get a lot of things there besides the fact that Dallas took a step back and looks lost. A Philly team that, even though it's up over that key number of 7, they're probably the best favorite if you're going to play a big favorite. Other than that, it's look underdogs for sure, because you're getting value with some of these teams. I would not be comfortable playing Denver minus all those points. I would take Tennessee probably plus those points. There's people get hit in the face with parity every year in week 1. This team's better. Love the name on the jersey, but there's a lot of competition in this league. So that would be a couple. The other one, I think that the Steelers go on the road. I think they are much improved. I do believe Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, that they're buying into what he's giving them. He's got one more little run. I think DK Metcalf is a huge improvement for them at receiver. And so I expect them to go beat up on a Jets team. Pittsburgh's not been good in week 1 against the spread the last 5 games, but they're getting this new regime. And I love Mike Tomlin. I think that he is a great coach. Steelers fans are complaining about him. That's like dating an 8 and then getting mad every time a 10 walks by. I mean, you got an 8 that's doing everything you want. Some smoke show walks by and you're wanting to trade in your girlfriend over here. It could be a lot worse, all right? Ask Browns fans. Mike Tomlin's not the worst thing ever to happen to a football coaching squad. So I'll take him at the Jets laying the points there.
FatJackSports.com. Best I've come across, man. I mean, whatever sport it is, when your stuff comes in, I immediately call him and my brother. I'm like, okay, here's what Jack thinks. And that's the ultimate compliment.
Thank you. So I bet every game myself, but the best thing for me is I want other guys to win betting on sports. Honestly, that's why I do this. I could just go bet my own stuff and go get on the boat and go fishing. But I feel like it's so difficult to win betting on sports long term that getting those plays to guys that have some level of discipline, and you guys know so much what you're talking about. You put your information and your knowledge with my picks. That's a pretty deadly combination. It gives us a shot against some of these sports books.
It absolutely does. FatJackSports.com. I always love hearing you with my guys, Bleck and Abdallah, and we love having you here on the recap. Is there one long-term play?
Yeah, I would say you dipped into the 20 to 1s at the start of this, and there's a couple there that I find juicy as well, mainly in the NFC, like Tampa Bay, like the 28 to 1 range. San Francisco's playing a last place schedule. I think that's interesting. Like where are you shopping? You talked about not taking those favorites. Where are you dancing?
Yeah, so if I'm going to tie up money all year, I want to bet that I can be rewarded on for making a long shot decision now once it gets cold, but I don't have to win it all. And that's where you're leading with Tampa Bay. Those type teams are getting over 20 to 1. They don't have to win it all. If they're in the playoffs going to the wild card, you can hedge out of that thing, guarantee yourself money most of the time, and win either way. So I only play those. Tampa Bay's one of them, terrible division. Baker Mayfield out of Cleveland. The further you get away from Cleveland, it's like going to the sewer. The further you get away from the sewer, the less you stink, right? This guy's been better. They're offensively, they're healthy. So I like Tampa. The Rams are another one. The other two are quarterbacks. If they play well and are healthy, they're going to be good. People forget the Rams were 2 fumbles away from possibly beating Philly last year in the playoffs. They fumbled it twice and only lose by 6. I don't think Cooper Kupp being gone is anything. They replaced him. So the Rams are another long shot. And the third one I mentioned earlier, the Steelers, I think that they are lightning in a bottle. They are building that roster to win now. I love their coaching staff. All 3 teams made the playoffs last year. That's kind of the thing. Make the playoffs and then take that next step. All 3 of those fall in that category and all better than 20 to 1.
Fat Jack, you're the best, man. We'd like to check in with you again from time to time and let people know what you're thinking. And again, you can get all of his great knowledge at FatJackSports.com. You're the man.
Guys, have a great week. Enjoy all the games.